Welcome to another episode of Fix It Tony. I thought I would step back and not do any projects for this episode, but instead kind of walk you through a behind the scenes look at what I carry around with me if I'm going to do a project around the house. So anything from changing that lock set like you saw in another video, to repairing an electrical outlet, to to anything around the house that from small projects to big projects, how do I carry and what do I usually have with me? So everything, as you can see, fits into this little bucket boss. I bought that thing, oh my gosh, I can't even remember, 10, 15 years ago. And it slips over a 5-gallon pail. It has organizing pockets and pouches both inside and out. Over the years, I've tried tool bags, tool boxes. I tried keeping my tools in cabinets, but I always felt like, what were the tools that I always kept returning to a toolbox or my tool cabinet for? Then I decided I should try to keep them all in one spot in a grab and go kind of a situation. Even if I was going to help a friend or a family member with a project, I would take things with me. I am not endorsing any specific product, so you might see in this film a particular product and their name brand. That's not intentional. I just wanted to illustrate the things that I do have. The assortment of tools that I have here range from the newest tool, less than a year old, to tools that I've had for 20 years or more. And I always felt like they've served me well. Some products I actually do intentionally buy because it was something that has tried and true and tested for me. So everything from minor electrical, carpentry, measurement and marking. So why don't we start over here? You need to take measurements and mark items for cutting. So here you have a variety of markers, pencils and pens. I keep an eraser, pencil sharpeners, a ruler. This is sort of a folding ruler, a digital tape measure, a regular wooden flat ruler. I have a combination square, a compass, chalk line, stud finder, tape measure, plumb bob. Surprisingly, how helpful a plumb bob comes in once in a while. A fishing tape for fishing wires, framing square. I have this used to be a toolbox that you buy different bits. I had an assortment of screwdriver bits, right? This is probably 15 years old, I think. So I tore out the guts, and I just keep an assortment of driver bits, so standard magnetic bits, things that fit into a drill. Drill bits for drilling small holes, pilot holes, etc. Some tape. You always need a flashlight. I like headlamps. These are more popular and more handy these days. If you're working alone, a headlamp is going to be very handy. A couple different pry bars. If you have to pry off some trim, door trim, you're going to wish you had that. If you have to cut a nail in behind something, this mini hacksaw. Some people online think this is a joke, but if you're having to cut off a bolt that holds down a toilet, you need one of these. If you're replacing a toilet and you have to cut off those brass stems, you actually have to use something like this because you really don't have a lot of room for a real hacksaw. A couple of different knives, carpet knife, standard utility knife, some C-clamps. I think everyone should have 2 different kinds of putty knives. This one is a stiff blade. It's got a sort of a chisel edge to it. Not too sharp, not sharp enough to sort of use as a chisel, but I've seen some people sharpen them. But it's great for prying and scraping. If you need some more delicate bending, something more flexible, more of a painter style putty knife, handy. Voltage testers. This is just a circuit tester for a regular receptacle. You see me use that when I did the USB outlet receptacle replacement. This one measures 120, 240, and 600 volts. It's also a basic AC/DC voltage tester, as well as a continuity. Doesn't really make any noises. It's pretty basic, but it's durable, lasts forever if treated well. This particular one, if you're just looking for live circuits, you can actually touch this on wires or switches, and it'll detect the current, or you can plug it into a receptacle. So I have a couple of options. Pliers, variety of standard electrical lineman pliers, flush cutting pliers, angle cutters. These are great. You do want to get a good set. You want to have a pair of pliers that you're able to open with your fingers. If it's too stiff and you're struggling to open it, you need two hands, wrong pliers. You want to be able to open these with just your fingers in one hand. You know, they all have to open easy. These kinds of, this is more of a puller. I use to pull nails through a baseboard or trim or cutting. Handy. I think it's worth inclusion. Nail setting punches. If you're setting nails, I have a pilot bits, assortment of screwdrivers, both couple different size Phillips, a Robertson. In Canada, this is like the go-to screw head. It's a square drive, but it's called growing up in Canada, it's Robertson. So I like these. You always need one. This is like the medium size. I forget if there's a number to it, but I've got the smaller and smaller version if I need it, but it's in a different toolbox. A couple different flat blades. I like this long, skinny one. This is great for unscrewing outlet cover plates. And let's see, sometimes you encounter a stripped screw. So I have a stripped screw remover, pair of pliers, hammer. Actually, I do really like this particular version. I've had this for 20 years. I had another one 10 years before that. These things are great. I really like how they work. So all of this stuff is kind of what I would have if I'm doing a job. Again, if you can pull it, you can also. I like the Bucket Boss. Durable as heck, very rigid material. Once in a while, I have to clean it out. I've had a couple of remodeling projects that I used it for, remodeling some rooms. So a lot of wood and dust and stuff got in it, and I felt it was high time to clean it out, dust it, reorganize it, see what I got. One thing that I don't have here that I forgot to pull out and put in there is a chisel. Usually a 3/8 or 1/2 inch chisel, wood chisel would be something good to have. So that pretty much does it. So if you're looking to start your home do-it-yourselfer collection, in terms of hand tools, this is sort of what I have, and I think I could say that in the span of a year or two, I have used every single one of these tools one way or another. I'm not talking about power tools. Of course, that's another video, but everyone should have a power tools, cordless drills, cordless screwdrivers. You sort of add to that, but a cordless drill is paramount. So pick one. There's a lot of reviews online, different brands, different batteries. My short story about that is I've had all the different kinds of battery power types, battery sizes. So if you are going to look for a cordless drill or cordless tool set, I would stick with 18 volts lithium ion. And if you're going to start with a particular brand, they often sort of have tools that batteries cross over. So I think it's important to stick with one brand ultimately. You could jump brands if you must for specialty tools, or you're going to abandon one brand and switch to another. That's fine too. No big deal. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe and like to my videos and my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm working up towards building up a critical mass of subscribers and followers so I could do a giveaway. Thank you.